Everyone, this video is about using folium module or folium library for accessing maps. So Python's folium module is used for visualizing data from an interactive map. So the documentation about it I have provided here through this link. If you open it, you will have the detail about the folium module, about the installation, how to get started with it, and various functionalities about it. So go through this documentation to have an idea about the folium module. There is a method, folium map method, and it's used to generate the map with various arguments, and those arguments are location. If you see location, zoom start, width, and height. You have to import the folium module, then you have to call the map method in order to return the map to a variable, or sorry, the object. So the location module, it contains a list containing the latitude and the longitude values. So first one latitude, second one is longitude values. So based on this, the map will be generated. Now zoom start, what is the zoom, initial zoom level, and the by default it's set to 10. So based on that size, your map will be generated. Then width of the map is returned through this parameter, and it's specifies in pixels as an integer, or as a percentage as a string. So there is this format 100% like this. Then you can also use the height in this way too. Height is 30%, width is also 30%. The next thing is that you can only simply write the command map in order to populate or generate the map in here in the same Jupyter notebook file. But in my file, it was having some sort of error. It's not getting generated. That's why I tried to do like this. I tried to save the, let me run it. I tried to save it using the HTML extension with the name index. So let me see in my the same directory where I have my Jupyter notebook. So see, the map is created in this format based on the latitude longitude value I provided. So this is where mostly your area where the stern is located. Now let's see. Okay, now let's say you want to put a marker in your map. So how to do that? So there is a statement that is folium. Use the folium module dot marker. So this marker function is able to take the parameter of latitude longitude value, the pop-up value, that is the text, what text you want to display on the marker. When you click on the marker, it should display like this. Then a tooltip value, okay, ECSU. So this one, this value ECSU will be used when the user, that means you will hover your mouse over the map. And then icon. So icon is a folium dot icon attribute that includes a color, that is red color will be appended on the icon. Okay, and let me do this. So to add the marker, first you created the marker. Now to add it to map, you need to do it in this way, marker dot add to map, and map is already created in this way. So let me run the code and see whether the marker is getting added to or not. This is the marker type, it is being returned. And let me close this and open it again to see whether the marker is added or not. Didn't work. Let me see again. Okay, run, run, run. I need to save it. Now let me show. Yeah. So see here, ECSU. When I just point my mouse here, the ECSU is returned as the value. When I click on it, it returns the tooltip value, that is Eastern Connecticut State University. This is what you can assign it through or set it through folium.marker. The next thing, one exercise, So here what you have to do, here I have added the answer. Okay. So latitude, longitude of Capmatic. Okay. The value is like this. You can also derive this value from the Google Maps as well. So the thing is that you need to create a green marker for Capmatic whose icon will be coffee. And since it's a font awesome icon, you need to prefix it with FA. So how to do it? Research it yourself and try to generate this map with this marker. This is your exercise. Now let's see how to look up the latitude and longitude values using the Binge Maps virtual earth API. So in order to use the Binge Maps, you may know the Google Maps, Binge Maps, so different types of maps available. So to use the Binge Maps API, first you need to create a Binge Maps. Okay. So how to create it? You need to go to this link. Okay. And then follow all the steps here. Okay. So follow the steps to create the Binge Maps key and then add it to your credentials file. So if you see my credential files, so these four keys are for Twitter and this is the key for the Binge Maps that is being added. So you need to save it to your credential file and will also access it here in this way. So before doing this, you need to know some basic concepts. So when you create an application, you need to set the key type and application type is your Windows application. Okay. And see, first we need to import the requests module. So this is a simple HTTP library. So if you know, when you search something in the internet, so it's returned with an HTTP, correct? So HTTP is a hypertext transfer protocol, and its details can be found through this link here. Okay, so how the requests are made, what is guest and post request, how to pass parameters in the URL. Okay, let me show you something. If you, yeah, see, this is the Eastern Blackboard, or let's say I will open the Eastern website, suppose. Mm, okay, so see here, the URL starts with HTTP, right? So HTTP is the request it is being made. So the details about this is could be found from this link, and always getting a request from the server, you need this hypertext transfer protocol. Okay, then you need the credential file to be imported. Then JSON is to be imported because in internet it always processes the JSON data. Then there is a URL lib parse import statement to be used, and you need to import code from it. From URL lib.parse, you need to import code, and it will make sure to define all the parsing function, focusing on the splitting of a URL string. So what is that? If you see, so this string has HTTPS, then World Wide Web www, then Eastern City edu. You may have a longer or lengthier URL as well. Okay, so this helps to break everything, and again combining the same URL string, and this all the details could be found from this link here. Okay, parse URL into components. So if a request is made to the server and it returns a status code as 200, okay, so that means the response from the request is valid and successful. So to know the details about it, go to this link, and it will give you all the list of status codes available and how are they being used. Okay, this is all about import statement. Now let's see a function geocode. Okay, and so this function will be able to return the latitude and longitude of a location as per your need. So before that, let's do one thing. Let's say I want to access the Boston MA Geocode, that is the latitude longitude value of Boston MA, and I'm going to use the Binge maps key from my credentials file. So when I call this function, it will call the function definition in here. And let me first run the code to see whether it's running or not. Yes. So when this function is called, the query and the key are provided. Query as Boston MA and key as the credentials dot binge underscore maps underscore key, and the URL is to be returned in this way. Okay, so that the query will be able to perform this request on the server, and it will check that whether whatever web page you want to get, okay, so that is able to get it successfully or not. Here R is a response object, and using this any web page information could be found. So this URL object will return the URL from where you want to obtain it, and analyzing by taking the parameter URL here, and the get function will be able to return the request to the our response object. So now if the response status code is not equal to 200, that means something is wrong, okay, and it will return this statement error. And let's say if this statement is not true, what it can do, it can load the text. So JSON format of text will be returned from the R object, and you can do like this. So when you try to print J, you take this, you can uncomment this one, just take it out and run this to see the JSON value of the text returned from this URL, and put that output in this section to see the JSON viewer and whether it is successful or not. And from that, use J and this statement will be return will be able to return the latitude longitude values, the points and the coordinates. Okay, so once it is done successfully, when I print G, it will return the latitude and longitude values. Let's say this some sort of error occurs here in the try part, it will go to except part, and it will return that error query is not in the correct format. You need to change the query in some way. Maybe there is some error in the URL or some error in the connection of the status code. Okay, if everything is fine, you will be able to see the latitude longitude value like this. So once it's returned, so you have the latitude longitude value. Okay, now using the folium map, try to put a marker on this location, Boston MA, and this zoom start, width, height values. Here list of locations I have provided, 3 locations. Now for each location in the locations list, what you can do, you will call the geocode function. Okay, it will call the geocode function, pass each location, Boston MA and your credential key. It will call that function, run everything, locate the location through the geocode. Then it will put a marker as per your need. So let me run the code. So see, 3 different latitude longitude lists are being returned. They are for Boston MA, Hartford, and Albany. The next thing is that, okay, once you have the map, okay, with all the locations, the next thing is that to save it to another one HTML file. Now let's see what does it have. I'm going to open the file to see. See, Hartford is located, Boston is located, Albany is located with 3 markers, and you have provided the color green. That's why the marker is coming as green color. So this is all about using the folium module for locating maps and locations, and also knowing the latitude and longitude values.